don't know if Matt feels that way. I'm sure Matt would like a blowjob if you offered it. I don't think he's going to be like, no, honey.
No, of course. If that was the only thing on the table, he'd take it. But if the main course is there, he's like,
Fuck the entree.
doesn't need a starter.
He just likes the pinky and the stinky and the straight to sex.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Life Uncut. I'm Laura.
I'm Brittany.
And this is Ask Uncut, where we answer your deep, your dark, and your burning questions.
All right, I'm just going to come clean again.
Why were you so dirty before?
Remember just a couple of weeks ago where I admitted that I had made a grave error?
Yes, I do.
By giving Keeshia a hard time about her sensory light vibe.
Do you know why? Because Keish comes to this episode with the most obscure vibes, but it's almost like she's ahead of her time. So she'll come with an obscure vibe, and then 3 weeks later or a month later, it's in trend.
I'm a trendsetter.
And
No,
it's
it's
like,
not
damn
in
it.
It's not in trend. It just comes to the fact that I'm like, oh, I could have used that product at that time.
You've also started following that installation floor guy, haven't you, Britt?
No, this is one thing you haven't influenced me on. I don't even know his name.
People have started sending me other accounts that are similar, and they're like, I think you'd like this. And I'm like, you are damn right. I do enjoy this. Follow.
No, so it was the little sensory stick-on lights, in case you missed it. And then I laughed at Keisha and I said it sounds like a really old person thing. And then I stayed over at Keisha's house. And as I, in the middle of the night, went to wee, I thought, wow, these are brilliant sensory lights. I was like, well, I need to get them.
Can you call them sensor lights? Because sensory
Sensory
lights
lights.
means you touch them.
Oh.
They're good for your sensory.
Everyone listening knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, it happened again. So last weekend, if you guys saw on Instagram, I had a real mishap. It was very early in the morning. I had a really big shoot day where there were, and when I say shoot day, it's like, I'm saying shoot, not to sound like a wanker. I wasn't going to shoot myself for content. I'd been hired for a big shoot. They'd shut down a restaurant. They'd hired a crew of 20 people. It was a really big thing. I could not make this day because it would put so many people out and a lot of people would lose a lot of money. And now I'm saying this because it is important.
You're like, I'm not a wanker, but I cannot cancel. Thousands of people needed me.
Too important.
No, but it's like the shoot was based around it. Like you cannot let a crew down.
It was a campaign shoot for a brand.
Yeah, it was a huge campaign shoot. Anyway, so the makeup artist was at my house with my sister. She was there. I went to get coffees. And I was on the FaceTime to Ben and I was walking down the street and I just buckled. Like my foot just gave way and I felt this really instant pain.
Did
and
you
then,
have a fall?
well, no, I didn't.
If only she had the sensor lights.
Sensory light. No, it was daylight, guys. And so I looked down and the pain at that moment didn't equal what I was looking at. It was this really surreal moment because I just felt like I'd maybe stepped on a rock for a second. I was like, ow. And then I looked down and there was a giant rusted nail embedded in my foot, like so deep in my foot. And I had shoes on. I do not know how it happened. And I stopped, dropped my copies on the ground, sat down, and I was like, oh my God. I said to Ben, I was like, look what's just happened. And I'm going to put the photo up for you guys to see again. But there was this huge nail. He's like, what the hell? And he's like, can you pull that out? And I was like, wiggling it and it was stuck. It was like it was hooked in there.
It was like a massive tetanus-ridden nail. It was
rusty.
It couldn't have been more rusty.
I reckon it was from 1920.
It had little spurs sticking off it because it had rusted so much and that's what gripped on inside.
It looked like a drill bit.
Yeah, it was quite thick, wasn't it?
It was thick and like it wasn't a tiny nail with a point. It was thick and it was like it had melted in like, what are those licorice pieces that are like swiveled? You know, like
Oh, yeah,
twisted, yeah.
It was like twisted the whole length of the way and it was so rusty.
What I loved about this is because when you shared it on your stories, right? That's how I saw. And I was like, Britt looks like she's been crying. And then as it went on, you're like, I've got something in my foot. Because I was kind of like,
you're like, here we go.
No, well, a little bit.
She loves to add mayo.
I was like, let's see how bad it really is. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh my fucking God, go to hospital, you maniac.
Well, it was, I mean, if you don't laugh, you cry. And I did laugh and cry. But I was sitting on the street
and captured the content.
100%. And I was like trying to get this nail out. Because in my head, I thought, okay, cool. There's a nail in there. It's going to pull straight out. It'll probably hurt for a second. And I'm going to pull it. And I'm really gentle at the start because I thought it would just slip out. It didn't. I'm start to yank. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to go to a hospital and have this removed. And then I realized I had 40 minutes to get to this shoot. I was like, I cannot go to a hospital. What am I going to do? I called my sister. She came running down and I was like, can you pull this out? She tried to pull it out. She's like, bro, that is stuck in there. And I was like, nothing is stopping me from getting to work. Anyway, I bit my lip, strapped in, and I shredded this thing out of my foot and got on with my day. That's not the point of the story. The point of the story, 2 points. One, I reckon I had 4,500 people write to me to get a tetanus shot. I got a tetanus shot.
I had people write to me. That's how much I believe how many messages you got because I got about 10.
I was one of those people.
yes, everyone. And I was like, guys, I have a tetanus shot. B, I'll get a booster. But
Yeah.
I know. Okay. Anyway, it was just funny because a day later I got a message that just hit home so hard, and I was like, bravo. Somebody, a lifer, literally wrote to me and said, wow, imagine if you had Keisha's steel cap boots. That never would have happened. I was like, fucking
She's
right.
right.
Too right.
It is true. You do need to apologize to Keisha again.
No, it's not worth an apology.
Have you got some ordered?
I have ordered them, yeah. I used Keisha 20.
I'm pretty, actually, can we just like do a little flashback? Because you shat on the steel cap boots pretty hard.
No, that's my point.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to revisit it. Here it is.
They have become my everyday shoe. If I'm not at work, I'm wearing these boots. They're the
Amazing.
best.
Wow.
I feel,
Wow.
I feel like you can't mark my recommendations anymore, Britt, because in 2 weeks' time, you're going to be saying they're the
think-
best thing you've ever heard.
I think you can. Like wearing steel caps as a normal everyday shoe is weird because it's definitely made for like protection on building sites and renovations. But great reco.
Okay.
Yeah. But like there is honestly, I think one of my best qualities is when I can say that I'm wrong and I can appreciate something. I should have had steel cap boots on at 7 a.m. on that morning. At 7 a.m. in Bondi on the morning of my photo
you
shoot.
never know when you're going to need them. That's why you should just wear them all the time and you're protected.
It's true. Isn't that like the whole premise of it? It's like, safety equipment. You don't need it till you need it.
They're not becoming an everyday shoe. I met Keisha at the dog park the other day. She had a steel caps on. I was like, why are you wearing these?
no nails in my heels.
All right, guys, let's get into the vibes and unsubscribes for today. Keisha, what is your vibe?
I have a vibe this week that, look, I loved this. I think I could have loved it more though because I have read the book or I listened to the book that it was based off of. It's the Thursday Murder Club movie that is brand new on Netflix. It's currently the #1 film. So
I loved it.
I really liked it too. But one thing that I think a lot of people who have read the book that was written by Richard Osman that the movie was based off of, we all kind of felt as though it was a little bit rushed. I've seen a lot of reviews around the fact that the first half of the film, I think, pretty well reflected the book. And then the second half kind of felt like they were trying to wrap it all up pretty quickly. And I don't know if I'd feel that way if I hadn't have read the book. So
You probably wouldn't have.
Okay.
And I say that because I haven't read the book. I enjoyed the film for what it was, but it is very hard for any book adaptation to hit the mark.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a movie or a series, it's like, I felt similarly to Outlander.
Right. I see. Some people were saying that they wish it was made into a TV series so that they could go a little bit deeper, but it's got an amazing cast. It's got Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan. And I recently spoke about Mobland, that show that they've worked together on. There was actually a third person from Mobland that was in Thursday Murder Club too. So I wonder if they're just actors that really like to work together and they've got a good vibe. So they're doing a couple of different projects. But yeah, as I said, it was based off of the novel written by Richard Osman. And I've spoken about him before because he's like this English TV guy. So he made a lot of different shows. He's produced a lot of different TV shows. And he's the host of The Rest is Entertainment. So it's this podcast that came off of The Rest is History. Then they've got The Rest is Politics. And they've
You've
got
actually vibed it before.
Yes,
yeah.
I love it. I listen to most episodes every week, like it's in my regular schedule. And I actually did an amazing episode about the Riyadh Comedy Festival that came out a couple of days ago. So this is a bit of a double up vibe. They're both Richard Osman based. This Riyadh Comedy Festival, it's in Saudi Arabia. The episode is called The Comedians Crazy for Saudi Cash. And it's all about these comedians, like some of the most famous comedians in the world are going to perform at this comedy festival in Saudi Arabia. And a lot of people are saying like, you're getting paid by the Saudi government. You're basically doing, tourism and you're almost working for the Saudi government because you're trying to make out that, they're this place that you go to have a comedy show and not necessarily somewhere where there's human rights abuses. And it was just a fascinating unpack of the episode. So yeah, it's a little bit of a double up vibe from me this week, both based around Richard Osman, but the Thursday Murder Club movie on Netflix, it's a really nice watch. And I think it's something that we don't see much of. It's about these retirees. They're in a retirement village called Cooper's Chase. And they kind of get this new lease on life by trying to solve unsolved cold case murders and that kind of thing. And so they all get together and they kind of utilize different skills that each person has. And it's about their friendship and about, that bond, the camaraderie, I guess. And then something happens to their specific retirement home. there's a murder and they go about investigating who actually did the murder.
Can we just sit in the fact that people don't appreciate Pierce Brosnan enough? He is.
So to spat.
No, do you know what?
I've always thought Pierce Brosnan is hard done by. Like, we need to appreciate him more.
I think he's not given enough credit. I mean, I was going to say for his looks. He's acting, but his looks. And when I watched this, Keeshia, it was what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, he's just such a handsome man. Like, for me, I'd take him over George Clooney because they're in the same category, same age group, same level of like fame. Have a look at that stare.
Oh, yeah, he's hot.
He is so hot. And you should see him now. He's a beautiful silver fox in this TV show, like full head of grey hair. He's smoke show.
I think that people do. I think
No, we don't appreciate him enough.
All right. Well,
I feel like we don't appreciate Helen Mirren enough. Like, she's
Brilliant.
someone who is just such a phenomenal actress, but she's also aged in a way that we don't typically see in Hollywood.
Yeah, but I wouldn't bang her.
I'll take her.
But I'd take Pierce now.
Pierce, you heard it here first.
And one more thing about Pierce. Sorry, he's been married to his wife Keely for like 25 years.
Well, that's why he wasn't such a heartthrob in the same way as what
Clooney was.
Yeah.
Clooney was a slider.
And he was all over those, what was it? Not Nescafe. What was the thing?
Oh, Nespresso.
He was all over those Nespresso ads.
Yeah, you can be all over me. Okay, I'm giving you my vibe. My vibe is a hair tool. I've been using it for probably the last year, and it's taken me too long to vibe, to be honest. It's Mermade. So you guys all know Mermade hair tools.
The creepy one.
Yes, but this is not what the tool is. So Mermade is like, they're all pink. All the tools are pink. So you've probably seen it advertised around. But it's called the Iconic hair dryer. But it is like this little hair dryer that bends, like it can fold in half. So it's really good for travel. It comes with these attachments. So it comes with a normal hair attachment, but it comes with these two, I guess it channels like the air wrap. Like it is a form of an air wrap. So they're curlers and they're just magnetic. So it just like, you just pop off the end, it magnetizes on. And it just blows its air. And you just literally, I've never seen an easier tool. You just hold it next to your head, hold the hair, and it just wraps it up into a perfect curl. And then you take it out. I can have a beautiful head of curls in like 5 minutes. So it has all these attachments, like normal hair dryer, 2 curly things, and the diffuser. It's called the Iconic hair dryer, and it's $299. But I have used it every day, and I have tried it for a very long time before I recommend something.
That's interesting that they've kind of done an air wrap equivalent, because I get asked, I bought an air wrap and I get asked a lot if I think it's worth it. And my honest answer is, unless you're using it every day, the price is pretty up there.
I have used an air wrap before, and I didn't love it. Like the actual.
I think it's fine, but would I spend it again? No.
I have one, and it sits in my cupboard up the very, very top. And I think
because you don't have hair.
I've used it once.
Sorry, I thought we were doing that burn book thing. Like she was gone bald. Sorry, I lent in.
You're right.
Well,
You're
she
right
got
there.
lovely hair.
It's a joke.
In a bun.
It's as nice as my hair's ever going to be. Like, I've actually got some for a change because it stopped falling out in this pregnancy, and you still come for me.
Sorry, I thought that's where we're in the friendship. I thought we were making jokes. It was a joke. That's what a joke is. It's funny and it's not real. If it was real, I wouldn't say it, as we all know.
The problem is it is real.
See?
Okay, all right. Look, I have a recommendation, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard about now because it is number 2 in movies on Netflix at the moment.
Behind mine.
It's not K-pop Demon Hunters. Like hold your horses. It is a Netflix true crime documentary. It's called Unknown Number: The High School Catfish. I want to be careful about describing this to you guys because a lot of people will be familiar with the case. It only kind of came out in 2022. It's about a young girl whose name was Lauren, and she was receiving literally hundreds of thousands of messages from someone who was cyberbullying her and her boyfriend at the time. She was only 13. And it was investigated. And I don't want to give away who it was in case you're not familiar with the case.
Yeah, definitely don't.
Because it is, look, I think the thing is if you do know the case and you do know the outcome of this, you probably won't be as shocked watching the 1.5 hour documentary, on this. But if you don't know, it will truly leave you feeling sick, I think, if that's how you come to the conclusion of what this story is. It's a true case, obviously. The person who is the catfish, the person who was found to be harassing and the bully behind this little 13, 14-year-old girl at the time, she is now free from jail. She only just recently got out, and they're both part of this documentary. It's really fascinating, but part of it as well is like just how much this type of cyberbullying, when there's anonymity involved in it, how much it can escalate and how much it's not always surrounding you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is like when you're in that, you probably think the person who's doing it is someone who hates you, or you think it's someone who's from school who has something against you. Like you would spend so much of your life trying to figure out who is this person that's saying these awful things. And the things that were being sent to her were truly horrific. They were super sexualized towards her boyfriend, saying that they were, you know, having an affair basically, that the boyfriend didn't want to be with her. But then there were also things around suicidal ideation, saying like she should go kill herself, saying that she was ugly, telling her just the most heinously awful things that you could think that you could say to someone were what were being written in this. But I guess the thing that's like the real clincher of this is that often when it comes to cyberbullying, and as we know from the doco that you spoke about, the Sweet Bobby one, Britt, from quite a while ago, it can be from people who you know and who are actually you seemingly have great relationships with.
Well, it usually is, yeah.
And there is just this sick psychology around control, around connection. That's what this explores. It's fascinating. It's an hour and a half. I've literally not gotten quite to the end, but I know what's happened. I watched it last night and I was hooked. Britt, you didn't love it as much, but that's because I think you know too much about the story.
No, I did love it, but I think that what I was going to say is I did know the story because you guys know I love all this kind of stuff. So when they come out, I always listen to pods on it or whatever. So I knew the story, so I wasn't as – I guess I didn't have the shock and surprise value. But I think if you know the story, you'll still enjoy it because the thing that I hadn't had access to before was – the actual emotional responses from all the parties involved. And I think that is what, so even if you know the story, that is still so surprising to sit and watch them speak. And Laura, I know you've just still got the end to watch, but you're going to be even more blown away at the end by just some of the responses that are given on tape by the people involved. It's a bit like, leaves you a bit like bewildered. You're so confused as to the how and the why. And I guess, I knew it and I still really enjoyed it. I just didn't have the value.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, even though I haven't seen that last little bit at the end, I was like, I got really late last night. And I
love that you're like 10 minutes off. You're like,
No, I'm about 15 minutes off and I was like, I fucking need to go to bed. Like, I feel so unwell, but I was like, I'm gripped. The thing is, I think it really, to me, just shows like how psychologically effed up the people are who, I mean, we obviously know that if you're going to send tens of thousands of messages to one person, cyberbullying them, but you would think it would come from someone who is a child or doesn't have the emotional capacity or whatever it is. But this is like, it is so psychologically dark what happened in this. And then just to think like how that then impacts everyone's life for the rest of their life. Like this little girl was only 14 when this kind of all absolved. So yeah, I'm not going to give any more away. Go and watch it. It's fascinating and it will make you feel a bit disturbed afterwards, I'm pretty sure. All right, let's get into the questions.
Okay, question number 1. Should I get my husband a Father's Day present or organise a day for him if he didn't bother getting me a Mother's Day present or plan anything for me? I love the tit for tat. I had to really show how upset I was for him to eventually, and I'm talking weeks later, buy me a new pajama set that I had already asked for Mother's Day. He barely made an effort to do anything. We went for a walk to get a coffee at the cafe, but there was like no planned brunch or lunch or anything fancy. I was furious. I ended up doing the groceries with my toddler by myself and she had the biggest meltdown. I was so embarrassed and upset. My daughter is 2.5, so she's too young to know what Mother's Day is. And I've been pregnant with our second child. He didn't even tell our daughter to wish me a happy Mother's Day.
Oh dear.
I've told him that the bare minimum I expect is that our children know that it's Mother's Day, that I get a present and that something is planned. I don't want to stoop to his level and not make an effort as I hope that leading by example will make him make an effort. But I'm fucking angry. What would you do?
Oh, a part of me is like an eye for an eye. But then the other part of me is like, remember, it makes everyone blind.
It's so funny that you say eye for an eye because I go the opposite. I'm like, oh no, go above and beyond. This is how you get the guilt in him. This is how you're like, this is how I show up for you.
No, the problem is though, is that if he then falls below expectation again next year, you're going to be doubly angry, right? Like you're going to be absolutely seething.
But you got more ammo.
You do. You have more ammo.
Yeah. And that's what it's about in a relationship. Healthy level of like, I do more for you.
I feel like this is really shit for you. I mean, it sucks because obviously you're going to be doing things for him, but with like a bit of resentment mixed in because, you know, it was so upsetting for you. You had to try so hard. I'm sure you do majority share, carry the load, the mental load, everything else. And all you wanted was for him to get your fucking 2-year-old to make a card.
And some pajamas.
And just buy some pajamas. Like the level of effort is so minimal, and the fact that he did absolutely nothing. And then when it comes to Father's Day, you're still carrying that load and you're like, okay, I'm going to, you know, do something for him and make him feel special. I understand the resentment and I understand the need and the want to not do anything right now. And I would feel exactly the same. I think though, this is your time to be like, okay, set that aside. That happened. He did that. I am accepting that he is going to do better than next year, and he better do better next year. But I would say go about Father's Day in the way that you would have if you weren't angry at him and you weren't still feeling resentful. You know, organize a nice lunch or get him some pajamas. Get him all the things that you wish you had for your Mother's Day, whatever that looks like.
Get him female pajamas.
But then I think that there has to be a conversation preempting next Mother's Day, or even, and I say preempting, do you know what? Maybe I feel in two minds about this. Part of me is like, I think a preemptive conversation so that he knows what the expectations are. But then the other part of me is like, you shouldn't have to do that, because having a preemptive conversation means that you're then carrying the mental load again. But I do think that you could potentially save yourself a lot of heartache, a massive argument if you say, hey, you know, a month before Mother's Day is coming up. You know what happened last year and it made me really, really upset. I don't want us to be in that same situation. It's really important to me and I hope that you make me feel special this year. That's all you have to say. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be a big, deep conversation. But I think if you do that, you've set the precedent and you've reminded him of what that precedent is. And if he fails in that instance, then, fuck, man, there's some big conversations to be had. Brittany, hit me.
I'm petty.
I know,
No.
I am too. No, I am.
I'm
But
actually not. I'm actually
trying
not.
to be better than the petty.
Honestly, I don't have expectations for anything. And I think that is why I do it. I think it's like a protection thing. If you expect nothing, you can't be disappointed. Doesn't mean you can't be upset. Like you're like, oh, it would have been nice. But I think that and you know, I'm not saying it's the right thing, but it's just what I do. I always just expect the least or the worst in everything. And because that way you can only be excited or like impressed or whatever it is. Having said that, you definitely need to tell him, and you've told him how upset you are. You've said you were furious. You said that like you've put your boundaries there and your expectations that you know, you want a gift at a minimum and you want your daughter to know. I think that they're pretty small things to ask for. I don't think you're asking for a lot. So I do want to say that. The question is, do I organize something for him if he didn't do anything for you? Yes.
Yeah.
I think you do, because at the end of the day, you are trying to teach your kids. It's as much about your kids as it is about the parent in a way. Like you are trying to teach your kids appreciation and gratefulness and love and like all of those things. I think that that's really important. It's just hard when it's like mums work so hard 24 hours a day.
And you're pregnant with your second.
Yeah, like
ugh.
every day. So it's one thing to not feel appreciated in life, generally speaking. But when you know that there's the one day that you're supposed to be appreciated and you're not even getting it on that day, like, of course, you're absolutely devastated.
You guys might have seen, I mean, I don't know if you follow her or not, but Amy Gerard, she is
Oh, yeah. She had a big moment.
She's a mumfluencer. She's also got a radio show. But she, it was Mother's Day this year, and she got on her Instagram at the end of Mother's Day and basically was like, is there not one fucking day in my family where I can feel appreciated? My husband did nothing. And like seemingly they have a great relationship. She's always posting about him. Like everyone knows who her husband is. It's not like, you know, she's just talking about being a parent on there. And it was pretty confronting. Yeah, it was like, no present. I spent all day making lunches and doing grocery shopping and doing loads of washing. She's like, my day today has been no different to every other day. And not one person in this fucking house made me feel special. And I watched that and I was like, that is a hurt mum.
Yeah.
That is someone who is hurt.
Underappreciated.
And I totally agree with you, Britt, in terms of like, I don't expect, like, I'm not a present person, right? I don't care about my birthday, don't care about Christmas, don't care about Easter. Like, I have never been a present person and I don't expect anything from anyone. But that changed when I became mum. And Mother's Day feels super different to me than any other day. Mother's Day feels like one day where all the things that you do every day of the year for everybody else to make everyone else feel special, you know, because you sacrifice so much of yourself when you become a parent. But often more so when you become a mum. it was like, for me, something in that day felt really important. And I know it's just a date. It could be any day. I'm not talking about the commercialization of it. What I'm talking about is just like having your family stop down and be like, we appreciate you and it's special. And
then finish my washing.
Yeah, and
but
do
I
my-
appreciate it. Make my dinner.
no,
But
but then the other thing is like, as parents, we're the memory makers, right? Like when you are a mum and a dad, you are the ones responsible for creating memories and moments in your family. And you kind of realize this. Like I had this realization around Christmas. I was like, Christmas used to feel really magical in my household growing up. Oh, that's right. That's because my mum made it feel magical. It's just a normal day unless everyone kind of chips in.
puts
and
the effort in.
yeah. And so that's the same with Mother's Day, right? It only feels special or magical if the people in your life actually step up to the plate and do it. And so that's why I think it's so important to people, because it's like the one day where someone else is putting in the effort to make you feel special.
Yeah, but that's why I think, and I go back to making that statement again, it's like, it's as much as you don't want to, it's for your kids,
the kids,
as much
yeah.
as it's your husband. And so maybe it's just a card. Maybe you actually don't have to get him a gift. Maybe you say to your kids, like, it's so important, make him something. And that way it's like, you're showing up for him, but you haven't gone and spent money on this amazing gift. But like you're still making the effort. And maybe the kids are making a breakfast in bed or whatever it is. But I wouldn't be
Literally give him Play-Doh in bed and tell him the kids made it. And that's like the special thing you've done.
Yeah, so I would be doing that. And then if the next Mother's Day rolls around and this happens again, then obviously
Divorce
obviously see you.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the gifts that you used to make for Mother's Day and Father's Day at school? I remember I gave my dad a pet rock once.
Oh, we've
it
all
was
done
a
a
black
rock.
with eyes glued on, and I'm like,
Lola came home from daycare literally yesterday with Matt's Father's Day present. Like, so it was in a bag that she made with a really cute card, and it was hand cream. So it's a little bottle, and they'd obviously made hand cream in class. They put the hand cream in the bottle, and she'd written on it, or the teacher, I guess, has written on it, like, what are the ingredients in the hand cream? Like ginger, lime, blah, blah, blah. Then last night she walked around the house giving everyone hand massages. It was lit.
that's an acts of service. That's a gift and acts of
It was
service.
lit.
Well done, Lola.
She took him upstairs to the bedroom to give him a hand massage, made him sit on the bed and have a hand massage.
Do you know what I did? I remember my poor mum, how she didn't get us so mad. I made her perfume. So I got a bucket of water in our backyard. It wasn't even at school. The bucket of water with just from the hose.
We've all done this.
I got flowers, leaves, whatever I could find, put them in, got a spoon and mixed it up. That wasn't enough. I needed a perfume bottle, so I tipped out her perfume.
Organic. Better.
Yeah, her good perfume, so that I could fill it with my specialty perfume that I had made for her. And then I gave it. It was so chunky. There were chunks of it. Was disgusting. And gave it to her. And I'll never forget her internal monologue must have been like, well, the actual fuck, she just tipped my Ciara down the drain.
I smell like lawn.
And I was like, put it on, Mum. It's like manure. We used to watch her put it on in the morning. It's like the things that parents do. But I never forget that was the gift that I just thought was like, she's going to be beside herself.
Kids suck.
Mine was the macaroni frames as well.
Can I just tell you one more thing while we're here, please? Bear with me.
Everyone listening is like, fucking move on to the next
No,
question.
because this is so funny.
Because everyone will have their own
Yes.
version.
Everyone is going to have their own version. But while we're here, this is just another one of my greatest gifts of all time. And I need to tell you, my best friend, Shannon, she was a bridesmaid at my wedding. We have been best friends since we're 5 years old. We always used to make each other presents and try to outdo each other. And I'll never forget, I was like, she made me a dream catcher, like with string. And I was like, how do I outdo this? And I was like, I know. We were in four-wheel drive club, my family. We go into four-wheel drives with other four-wheel drivers, and we used to go up mountains. That's what we used to do. That was my childhood, four-wheel drive club. And we're at the top of this mountain, and it was a really low cloud-covered day. And I was like, fucking bingo. I took the rest of the Vegemite out of a Vegemite jar that we had taken for lunch, cleaned it out, and then I ran really fast across the mountain and caught cloud. And then I put the lid on the cloud and I gave her, I said, this is
air.
But no, it wasn't air. I said, this is pure cloud from the top of a mountain. But it was just an empty jar with air in it.
I wonder how long she kept that one for.
Do you remember how those influencers made heaps of money selling farts in jars?
That's
It was like the original cloud jar girl.
Anyway, move on.
All right, look, selfish friends. This is what we're getting into now. My best friend is also my colleague. She had a really rough 18 months, a divorce just 6 months into her marriage, and then she had a miscarriage. Since then, she has struggled to be happy for others. She refuses to contribute to colleagues' wedding or baby gifts. And when another colleague tried to organize a present for our pregnant boss, she told her, I'm not paying you money. You can all fuck off. Wow. She also makes comments like, I wish I got treated like that. I'm not contributing to that after what I've been through when others are celebrated. The thing is, when she went through her divorce, her miscarriage, and birthday, we all supported her with meals, presents, and care packages. But she's never once gotten me anything, not for my birthday or even when my nan passed away. I'm finding her selfishness and expectations really hard to handle. How do I deal with this as her best friend without being cruel about what she's been through?
I'm sorry, but going through something personally in your life doesn't give you the okay to go and be an absolute mole to other people. Like, you don't get to say to someone else, fuck off, I'm not giving you anything, to somebody else's pregnancy. Like, these things just don't correlate.
Yeah.
You can not contribute, but it's, hey, times are tough. I'm a single mom now, I've divorced, or whatever it is.
You can also be sad for yourself and still have room in your body to have happiness for other people.
But you can also still not be happy for someone and not be a horrible person. Like, it's actually the response that gets me. Like, I'm not paying to that. You can all fuck off. Sorry. That I don't care what you've been through. That has nothing to do with that person, and it doesn't stop you from being a good person. You don't have to be happy, and you can feel sad. Those feelings are all warranted and valid, but you don't get to treat other people like that. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. The saying, hurt people hurt people. She's obviously a really sad person at the moment. She obviously is really hurt and clearly is not getting over it. You know, you said that it's been in the last 18 months that she had this divorce 6 months into her marriage, then a miscarriage. You know, she's clearly so deeply unhappy with her life. And I think my question would be, has there been a massive switch? Did she used to always be a bit selfish beforehand as well, but now it's just been amplified? Or was she a really generous friend prior?
No, she says that. She said she's never, as a best friend, she's never once gotten me anything.
Yeah,
Not for my birthdays, not when my nan passed away. She's selfish, and she finds her expectations really hard to handle.
Well, I think that's the big thing. If there has been a huge personality switch, then I would have more grace for it, because I'd be like, I think my friend is going through depression. Like, this is not normal. Like, this is just so long-term out of character for her.
Yeah.
But if you can kind of look back on your friendship, and I don't know how long you've been friends for, you haven't actually said that. If you can look back on it and be like, she used to be such a positive and generous person, and now she is this like nasty and negative, I would say, not that you have to support her through it in every entirety, not that it's your job to fix this, but you could have a conversation with her and be like, look, I know you've been through some really hairy stuff the last 18 months, but I feel like you are deeply unhappy at the moment. And is there something that, you know, you could do, or you could talk about, or talk to someone so that we could, you know, get you back to being the version that you used to be? Because I don't believe that you're happy right now with the version that you are. Obviously, that is trying to look at it with the most empathy possible, but there does come a point in any friendship where it is, and I don't want to say it's exhausting, because that's not a fair thing to say, but it is. It's really hard on the person when you are always having to have empathy for them because their life is harder, and nothing that you experience is validated. Like losing your grandparents or going through your own hardships is validated because their struggles are innately harder. That feels like an imbalance in a friendship, and it can become very, very tiring.
I agree with everything you said, but I still don't think there's a reason to treat other people like that.
No,
like,
I
you
agree.
can still be sad and you can still be going through something, but I agree with what you said, Laura, that like, if it's really abnormal behavior for her, then there's that little bit of grace, but the grace doesn't go alongside silence. So you don't just give grace and say, oh, she's just being a CUNT because she's going through something, I'll let her. You can still have those conversations and call someone up about it. Like, if you had said to me, Laura, if I said, hey, can we get Keeshia a birthday present? And you're like, I'm not giving money, go fuck yourself. You can all fuck yourself. If you had said that to me, even if you were going through something, I'd be like, whoa, that sounds like a disproportionate reaction. Like, that sounds a bit aggressive. I would say that to my friend. And I think you can have those conversations in the moment. Like, when someone has said something that is so like
Crazy.
Yeah, I think you're all right to be like, whoa, like that seems like a lot.
Absolutely. But put it into perspective. If Matt had just left me and I'd had a miscarriage, and within that same period I'd said, I'm not fucking contributing to that, you would know that that is so out of character for me. And you would be like, wow, Laura is not well. Like she is not well.
But I would still say that to you. I would still say,
Totally,
hey, hun, that
totally.
sounds a bit like a lot. Are you all right? Like, you don't have to contribute if you don't want, but I don't think we need to tell the whole room to go fuck themselves. You know, it just seems like, yeah.
Totally.
But
I agree.
yeah.
This actually just reminds me of my favorite Robin Williams quote. And I know that, Laura, you said, no, but you said hurt people hurt people. There's also another side to this. And it's this quote. It's actually my favorite quote. And I think it's so beautifully sad. He said, I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make people happy because they know what it's like to feel absolutely worthless and they don't want anyone else to feel like that. This friend is doing the opposite. It's kind of like, I'm in a bad way and I want everyone else to feel as bad as I do. I actually think, like you said, it could be a situational thing, but I think oftentimes when people are feeling down and sad, they don't want the people that they love around them to feel how they're feeling.
She's just jaded.
She's jaded, or she also, and I don't like this terminology because I think it can be thrown around and it can be like a very invalidating way to speak about someone's trauma. But you can also get stuck in a bit of a victim mindset. You can get stuck in this, like, everything bad happens to me. I'm so unhappy. You don't have a right to feel as unhappy as I do because I have it harder.
It's like comparison of pain.
Yeah, and when people do get stuck in that mindset, it makes it impossible for them to have empathy for other people's hardships or to have joy for other people's happiness. And that is just like, as much as it's a really tricky person to be friends with, it's also a fucking miserable state for them to live their lives in as well. Like this is an unhappy person.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to say is, because I know I'm coming across really harsh.
No, you're not. You're not. You're coming across like, I think that most people would agree with what you're saying.
But what I do want to say is, I don't think there's ever an excuse to treat people in that way. But I do want to say I understand where her pain is coming from. She has lost her partner. She got divorced and she lost a baby. So she had a miscarriage. Now, all of a sudden, even though it's 18 months, she's been asked to celebrate somebody who's seemingly happy. They're having a baby and assuming that they are with a partner and happy because she said, like, I wish I got treated like that.
Yeah.
I have said that comment 1,000 times in my single life when I was at the depths of despair and I was so unhappy and sad. I used to look at all my friends who were in relationships and they're kicking their goals. And I remember being like, why can't I have that? I wish I would have said that internally and I would have voiced that out loud many times. Those feelings are so valid. Like, I understand why she's hurting. I just don't like the fact that people can use that as an excuse to treat other people who are not directly affected by your personal relationship or situations. But like, I just think that there needs to be a time and a place. And obviously you've got grace for your friend. 100%. It seems like you're giving her that, but that doesn't mean you can't have those difficult conversations at the same time. You can still support her and call her out at the same time.
Okay, next question.
Friend wants to have a second baby shower just to get gifts, but I gave her gifts for her first baby. One of my girlfriends within our friendship group announced she is pregnant with another child. The age gap between her youngest will be 6 years, and she was the first of our group to be married and have babies. She had them quite young. Whereas the rest of us are only now having our first baby. She has advised us that she would like somebody to throw her a baby shower given the years gone past and no longer having any baby items. We all contributed to the first baby shower, which was 6 years ago. A few of us have expressed that it is the first child that you have a baby shower for, and the rest you can celebrate as like a baby sprinkle without expectations of any gifts or restock of items that they originally had been given for the first child. She has expressed it is in fact a shower and not a sprinkle, and she wants not just a celebration but also gifts. Is it bad for me to not want to attend knowing it is purely based on wanting gifts and having a strong expectation from guests to bring them? It's interesting.
I mean, look, I kind of agree. I do and I don't. I did not expect to have a third baby shower. I was the one that was like, no, that's a ridiculous thing. You can't have a baby shower and expect people to come and bring you presents. I was very fortunate that my sister-in-law organized one and my sister organized one. That's what the surprise baby shower was. But there also wasn't an expectation of presents. Like, some people brought them, a lot of people didn't. But it also was unnecessary in terms, I'm very grateful for it. But I do feel if you've had 3 kids, you kind of miss the baby shower sort of situation. I think personally, I think it's a first kid thing, but like, whatever. If you want to have more, go off queen. You don't have to go. Like, if someone has a baby shower, you get invited, you don't want to go because you don't want to buy a gift, don't go. Like, it doesn't have to be a deep, big unpack.
That's why Keeshia and I didn't go to yours. We were like,
Cost of
she's
living.
She's already
You're
had
like,
two.
this
We're
fucking
like,
bitch just wants more gifts. How many kids is she going to have?
She said she doesn't even like presents. I wonder if she wants a hand massage with handmade cream.
Literally, can you? The only thing that's different about this is your friend had a baby 6 years ago and has given everything away. She's starting from scratch. Like, she's got nothing. And now she's got a new baby coming. And I know that you're saying, oh, well, all of our other friends are just having their first. This is going to feel like having a first baby again. It's going to be hard. And at the end of the day, whether it's her first or her second, like, be happy for your friend. And I think you don't have to get a huge gift. You could get her anything. You could get her one of those giraffes that you chew on, you know, that are the teething giraffes. They're $25, you know. I think that it's okay for you. What? I already got one, Keisha.
I looked at Britt, I was like, note that one down.
I've already got one.
Keisha's like, you could get them like, no, Flora's like, you get them like a new fridge or something.
You get
For
the new
example,
Ferrari.
Yeah, like a Bentley.
No, but you could get them something small. You don't. It doesn't have to be. I know you're saying that the only reason why she's having it is because she's had really like high expectations around getting gifts and whatnot. You don't have to conform to those expectations, and you can still be a part of the day. And you know, it could be something small, a token gift. It could be some muslin wraps, whatever. Is it weird that she has these really high expectations? Yeah. I mean, I think that presents in general, and we've kind of established that over the last, 6 years of doing this Ask Uncut, that having expectations around presents is a strange thing in general. But I don't think you should poo-poo her wanting to have a baby shower quite so much either.
All right, hear me out. Keisha and I talked about this a couple of days ago when we read the question originally. We had very differing thoughts. And interesting that you say that, Laura, because Keisha's like, yeah, fuck it. You've had one baby shower. You don't get more. Whereas
It's not their fault that you threw the things away.
But who keeps things for 6 years? Maybe it's with a different man. Maybe she got divorced. You don't know.
That's what I said to Keisha. I was like, the thing is, she didn't have a baby a year ago or 2 years ago. 6 years is like, she might not have ever thought she was going to have another baby, this woman.
Totally.
6 years is a long time. You are in school. You don't have baby stuff and you don't hold on to them that long.
Britt actually said that's like Marley, but with
Yeah.
no Lola in between.
Yeah.
It's totally.
And you wouldn't be keeping your newborn stuff.
I mean, guys, I didn't have anything. I got rid of everything after Lola because that's almost 5 years. Like
Totally.
It was an obscene amount of time to hold on to. And you know what actually happens? And this would be my next question. Sorry to jump in on
I was
Britt.
like, I haven't even finished
I know.
my
No,
sentence.
my question is she probably didn't just give it all to Salvo. She probably gave it to friends who had babies. I have given everything I owned to my friends because everyone had children after me. And some of it came back. Most of it didn't because most of those friends then gave it to their friends who had babies.
But I think it's irrelevant. She doesn't have the stuff. It's 6 years. Doesn't matter how
Yeah.
she got rid of it or where it went. The only icky part for me here is, and I'll just never understand it. Like, I'm not the person that can do a registry. I'm not the person that can ask for gifts. If someone says, what do you need or want? I can never answer that. The icky part for me is not that she's having another baby shower. It's that she's like, I need gifts. Let's do it. Like, when somebody blatantly lays that down, and I'm in two minds about it because
I mean, that's what a baby shower's for though.
no, I understand it, which is why I'm in two minds about it. And I'm not just saying baby shower. It's like the idea of just saying like, hey, come because I want gifts is one thing. But having said that, I understand where registries come from so the person doesn't get the same thing 100 times over. So it's like asking for specific things makes sense. But the idea here of her just being like, hey, come because I need presents. But she's obviously doing that because she does need things. Like Laura said, it doesn't need to be a big thing. If you value her friendship, you can go and get her a Bonds zip up onesie. You can get like 3 packs for $20 or something. There's something that you can contribute that's going to help her.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm surprised to hear that people think that a baby shower is for one child only. I just thought a baby shower is for the baby. Every time there's a baby, that baby still is coming into the world and needs something.
That's why the middle child and the third child and the fourth child all have issues because they don't get as much.
I think you guys might have changed my mind a little bit on this. We all know how I feel about lists for gifts. I am all for a registry. I think it consolidates it. It means that you get things that are going to be practical. Maybe I'm just a tight ass. Like
Imagine
that
when
would
Keisha
fit.
gets married. What we're gonna get the longest list.
No. I think,
Flooring.
look, maybe I've changed my tune on this. Initially, I was like, oh, that's a bit cringe. Like, you know, you've already had one, your friends have already given. And it's probably because, firstly, I haven't had a baby. But you know what it's like when you're the single friend and you have to get gifts for every engagement, every
expensive.
wedding, every baby shower, and you're like, this is sending me broke. And now I'm
Totally.
doing it twice. Like
And
it's a really
yeah.
big financial cost to you as the person who's not necessarily on the other end of it where you receive it.
Okay, well, here's the question for you then in this situation. If this was a second marriage, like if you've been married once and then you got divorced and then you have a second wedding because you
No,
met someone new.
You're not allowed.
Are you like, do
No,
you
guys
get
already gave
gifts?
you.
Like I already gifted you for your first wedding. You don't get shit the second time around. I don't know. I'm
I
like,
see your point.
like I get it. Yeah, people like sometimes things are done in multiples, unfortunately. The only other thing I want to add to this is like if your friend has nothing and they've expressed to you, like, I don't know in the way that they expressed it. It sounds like they didn't express it in a very good way. It sounds like it came across probably a little bit tone deaf. But what it is that they're saying is like, we're really ill prepared and we have nothing. So if there's a way that my friends can help, I would appreciate the help. Most people don't ask for help. Most people say it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And then they just do it all themselves. But like if my friend had said, any friend, you know, that I'm close with had said, fuck, I'm pregnant and this is hard. Like I don't have anything and I don't know how we're going to get on top of it all. I would help and I would want to give a gift. I would want to give something that eases the burden. I don't want to get them like something they don't need or something that's just going to be added to the pile. I would do something super practical, like go and get 3 pairs of Bonds newborn zippies or go and get some muslin wraps, like things that I know are absolutely going to get used and are functional and helpful, not like the pretty silly gifts.
Oh, I'm going to ask you to give me a nanny. Can you give me a nanny?
Get
for
me
you?
get me a wet nurse.
All right, let's go to the last question. Are we giving blowjobs?
Nah,
Okay, that's a wrap.
that's it.
So
Thanks for coming to the show, everyone.
All right, girls, blowies. Are we giving them? My partner and I have been in a relationship for 8 years now.
Nah,
so
after 8 years, it's a no.
I reckon it stops at 1.
Yeah.
A common issue that often arises is around aligning what we want sexually. I have quite a low libido and could quite happily go months without sex. He has quite a high libido and would love to have sex every few days. So we have compromised on once every 1 to 2 weeks. Okay.
Sure.
It's working for us for now, apart from when I'm on my period. When I am on my period, my partner says that I need to give him a blowjob in the week of period.
Well, he can get fucked.
It is something that he really enjoys, says every man ever. However, I don't find it enjoyable. I don't like it. I actually find it quite uncomfortable and it feels like a real chore to me. I have told him that I don't like doing it and this is a constant issue that comes up in the relationship. Every time he asks for a blowjob, I am conflicted between not wanting to cause conflict and not wanting to do it because I don't enjoy it. We've had a big discussion about this and we're going to try to incorporate other things into our sex life to meet his sexual desires without doing the blowjob. My question is this a common issue that other couples are facing? I feel like no one really talks about it, but surely I'm not alone. Are people giving their partners blowjobs? I love that is the question. If they are doing it, do they enjoy it or are they also just doing it for their partner?
Okay, she also asked if we can poll this. Are we doing blowjobs because it's a chore? Like,
we poll everything.
Are we blowjobbing because we feel like we have to? Is this the time that we're actually?
I don't reckon you blowjob.
No. If you don't want to do it, you don't do it.
I think once it's an obligation, that's the biggest ick you could ever get.
You know,
100%.
the second that they ask for it is where you're like, nah,
No.
not for me.
I don't mind if they
Oh.
ask, but if it's like
Nah.
if it's an ask with an expectation, that's very different.
Yeah, the asking I'm okay with. I think you can ask for anything in a sexual relationship.
Yeah.
It's the badgering I'm not okay with.
Oh, I think I picture it more like I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking and someone's like, hey, can I have a blowy? I'd be like, no. Like, that's how I'm picturing it. Not that they're getting sexy and frisky. Like, I think it's that time of the month for her and he comes up and he's like, how about a blowjob? Like, that's how I imagined that going down.
And the problem is look, there's lots of problems with this, but the reason why I think it has become even more of a chore is because a lot of people have sex on a period and they don't care. And some people don't feel comfortable, don't want to. But what it sounds like is like you're not getting anything out of that experience whatsoever. And you're just expected to go and do the chore of giving a blowjob.
When you feel shit from your period,
Yeah, with
too.
nothing. Like it's not like it's
Totally.
not like there is anything that he's giving you in return in that moment. And I guess for that, I'm kind of like, well, then of course, the reason why you feel like it's a chore is because it's become a chore. And pleasuring someone and having pleasure should never be a chore because it makes there's more distance to then once you've done that during your period week where you're like, fucking got made to do this. you're already then so far behind the 8 ball because the next time that you have sex, you're like, oh, I got badgered into it last time. And now here we are again. I got to do it because, you know, you're not doing it because you want to. You're doing it because you feel like you have to.
And for your question, yes, of course there are women that love giving blowjobs. There are men that love giving blowjobs. There are people that get off on it, on pleasing and doing that kind of thing. I would say though, and we will poll it, I would say the majority of women, especially when you're 8 years deep, aren't frothing it. They're not waking up being like, can't wait to suck my partner's dick today. Like there's not people, that's not what people are doing 8 years deep. And the general consensus I would say is that it's like, oh, I will do it for him because he likes it, but it's not something that they like are dreaming about.
Or it's part of the foreplay and it gets them from A to B. Like I don't.
So that's the thing. No one does it. Even if you're doing it, you're not doing it to completion. You're doing it to set up the sex. Like no one is sitting there for however long, an hour, getting lockjaw.
I cannot remember the last time I gave a blowy to completion, honestly.
I don't
can't
reckon you ever
remember.
have. I'd call it. I'm confident to lay that down.
I think once. I feel a bit like, I don't want to say self-conscious because it's not what it is. I feel unsure because obviously we're a room of 4 women, but one of them doesn't count because she's a lesbian, so I don't think she's giving blowjobs.
Yeah, but I think she could still contribute. No, she doesn't have to.
Ness, how long ago did you give a blowjob?
No, but the idea is the same. Are women in same-sex relationships like walking into the kitchen being like, go down on me? Like, is that... No.
Ness is like, I'm not contributing to this.
Oh, they have 2 kids. They're not doing it. Okay,
that's what
Ness
happening.
is excluded.
I genuinely am curious because I know that we speak for like our small little world, but maybe like you know, when you surround yourself with like-minded people, you think that that's the norm. Like maybe there's going to be so many people when we do this poll who are like, no, I'm like sick for a blowjob.
Nah, they're not. I put my life on it.
Back when I was in my 20s.
Wait, I'd put a blowjob on it. If the poll's the other way, I'll give Ben.
I'll go that poll.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Ben's like sharing the Instagram story, just getting everyone he knows to vote.
I would have said as well, and maybe this is just so jaded, but when I was in my 20s, if that poll had come my way in my 20s, I'd have been like, yeah, because I'm a cool girl. I love doing that. Now that I'm married and I'm almost 40, I'm like, no, I really enjoy having sex with my husband.
Yeah,
is that the part that I enjoy the most? No, but I will do it. If he enjoys it. Luckily, Matt doesn't actually, he'd just rather get down to business too, to be honest. He's not that thrilled on it.
I don't know if Matt feels that way. I'm sure Matt would like a blowjob if you offered it. I don't think he's going to be like, no, honey.
No,
I don't need.
No, of course. If that was the only thing on the table, he'd take it. But if the main course is there, he's like,
fuck the entree.
He doesn't need
could
the
skip
starter.
to that too. He doesn't need a starter.
He just likes the pinky and the stinky and the straight to sex. Okay, the other thing is, and I guess it's such a personal thing, obviously, but why do you choose not to have sex on your period? Is that your choice? Is that his choice? Like, does he not like it? Do you not like it? Is it painful? Is it messy? Or you just think it's gross? Like, I personally think it's fine. I will have sex on my period. It doesn't bother me. But I don't have ridiculously heavy periods. And, you know, a lot of the time I'm not feeling overly unwell. I feel unwell for one day and then I'm okay. So, like, for me, it's not the end of the world. But I guess at the end of the day, we will put the poll up for you. So you're going to have to keep your eye on our Instagram. We can bring you back the results in the audio version next week. If we
will.
Want.
We absolutely will. But I think, look, just to round out this question though, rather than getting stuck on the actual people giving blowjobs or not, the problem here is that you are being badgered to do something you don't want to do. And no one should be badgered to have sex or to be pleasured or for their partner to be pleasured or whatever. It is childish. It is wrong on many levels, but also the other thing that it does is it absolutely deteriorates pleasure. Like you will never want to show up in your relationship and have sex and be excited about sex when your partner has fucking badgered you for it for like a week in preparation.
Like, I don't know if he's badgering her. I just get the get the impression that it's the expectation of, oh, if you can't give me one, you'll give me the other. That's what's gross, but I don't think it's.
But I think that's where the badgering comes in. I mean, that's my interpretation of it because otherwise it wouldn't come up. He's like, oh, well, your period. You know what that means? Time for you to give me a blowy. Like, no, absolutely does not mean that. It means go give yourself a fucking wristy and don't come near me. Go away. Sorry.
Like I was 16
Sorry.
again.
All of that was disgusting. I hate myself.
But nothing dries you up quicker than someone being like, you know what time it is? Give me a blowy. Give me a wristy. Like, yeah, that made me feel uncomfortable.
Anyway, if you have a question for us for Ask Uncut, slide on into the DMs on Instagram, Life Uncut Podcast. You can also send them to us on Facebook, join the discussion group, Life Uncut Podcast. It's all happening.
YouTube
Life
too.
Uncut
There's a lot of
group.
visuals in this one. So you know the drill. Team mum, tell your dad, tell your dog, tell your friends, and share the love because
we love love.